Welcome to 5th grade math, Module 2, end of the module assessment review. This is a lookalike test for the end of the module assessment. Let's get started with problem number 1. It states, express the missing divisor using a power of 10. Explain your reasoning using a place value model. Let's start by making ourselves a place value chart. I've created a place value chart that will accommodate both numbers. Please note that the ones place is 10 times greater than the tenths, and the tenths place is 10 times greater than the hundredths, and the hundredths is 10 times greater than the thousandths. When you divide by a power of 10, the number will get smaller by one place value. So in this case, if you divide 7 by a power of 10, it would actually go right here into the tenths place. But when you divide by 10 to the power of 2, the 7 would actually go 2 place values. 1, 2, and that's where it's at, is in the hundredths place. So let's look at 3. 3 is moved over 1, 2 place values. So what you do is you just draw arrows noting where the digits have moved. The 3 in the tenths is in the thousandths. The 7 in the ones is in the hundredths. So the answer is 10 to the power of 2. So let's go to the next problem. This problem states 5,720 divided by a number is equal to 5 and 72 hundredths. Again, we'll need to make ourselves a place value chart. Again, I've made a place value chart that will hold both numbers. So let's look at how the digits have shifted in this next problem. The 5 in the thousandths place has gone over 1, 2, 3 place values. Let's look at the 7. It has gone over 1, 2, 3 place values. And the 2 again is 1, 2, 3 place values. So let's go ahead and draw arrows noting the shift in the place values. 5 goes over 1, 2, 3. 7 goes over 1, 2, 3. And the 2 goes over 1, 2, 3. So the answer in this is 10 to the power of 3. It is important to note that you need to have a place value chart in both of your answers. We have a place value chart here and a place value chart here. You're showing that it is moving 2 places, 10 to the power of 2 here, and it's moving 3 places for here, which is 10 to the power of 3. Make sure that you answer with the power of 10 and have your place value chart in here. Otherwise, you're not answering this completely. Next problem states, estimate the quotient by rounding the expression to relate to a one-digit fact. Explain your thinking in the space below. So let's look at problem A. It states 432 divided by 61. Make sure that you round your divisor first before you round your dividend. It's going to be easier to find a multiple that will be close to this number. So 61 is close to 6 tenths. So I'll write that down, 6 tenths. Now 6 tenths, now we need to find multiples of 6 tenths. So we could do 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, and 42. Now I'm going to go ahead and add zeros to these. 60, 20, 180, 240, 300, 360, and 420. So let's go ahead and write that down. 420 divided by 60, and we see that that will go into it 7 times. If it's helpful for you, you could always write down 42 tens divided by 6 tens is equal to 7. And we have our 1-digit fact. Let's go ahead and go to the next problem. The next problem states 1,875 divided by 592. Now, 592, that is actually close to 600. So let's write down 600. 600, or hundreds. So let's find multiples of 6. We have 6, 12, 18, 24. Actually, I think we can stop there. So we're talking 600. So let's add a couple zeros behind each one of our multiples here. We have 600, 1200, 1800, and 2400. Looks like 1800 will work. So we'll write down 1800 divided by 600, and we know that that is equal to 3. And again, if it's helpful, you can write down 1800, or hundreds, divided by 600s, and that's equal to 3. And this is our 1-digit fact. So let's go to our next problem. Next problem states, generate and solve another division problem with the same quotient and remainder as the 2 problems below. Explain your strategy for creating the new problem. We could actually use a strategy that I have taught my students to come up with another problem by using a check for division. And the check for division is quotient times the divisor plus the remainder equals the dividend. And you might wonder, how is that going to be helpful? Well, we already know what the quotient is. The quotient is equal to 4. And we also know what the remainder is. The remainder is equal to 13. So we could actually come up with a new problem simply by coming up with a new divisor, and that will give us a new dividend. So let's try a remainder or a divisor that is larger than the remainder. Let's say 20. 20 times 4 is equal to 80. 80 plus 13 is equal to 93. So we just came up with a new division problem with a remainder of 13 and a quotient of 4. So let's go ahead and write that out. 93. And we're going to divide that by 20. 20 goes into 93 4 times. 4 times 20 is 80. We subtract and we have 13. So we just came up with a new problem that has a quotient of 4 and a remainder of 13. It is important to note, though, that you cannot have a remainder that is larger than your divisor. Because if your remainder is larger than a divisor, then you didn't divide into it enough times. So make sure that your remainder is always smaller than your divisor. And that's it for part 1, and stay tuned for the next part.